Hi, welcome to my channel. Does the Bible tell you so? Today we're taking a little bit of a detour. I wanted to do something that a lot of other people have done this past week, which is to talk about a TikTok that went semi-viral. I guess 2 million views makes it viral, right? And I'm not interested in mocking. I'm not bringing this up to mock this young woman. In fact, I don't actually think she's as crazy as a lot of people think and as a lot of others have said. So what I'd like to do is play part of it. I know I should just be doing a TikTok and copying it, but I'm just not going down the TikTok rabbit hole yet. So I'm going to play 30 seconds of what she says, and then I'm going to address 3 things about what she's saying and how she's actually connected to some pretty deep and dark and well-established patterns of characterizing women and sex in human history. Okay, so let's...
Not anyone is realizing that this is a demonic attack and it's a form of witchcraft. Masturbation is a form of control. You understand that you are literally controlling an orgasm. You're controlling your own pleasure. That is witchcraft. That is a curse that you begin to place over your own life that will then literally bleed into your future children's life. This means that this will become a generational curse that you started or that your parents started that will now go to the next generation. It's witchcraft. Cancel the assignment of
this part's one. Here's the thing. Here's where I am with this, okay? She's talking about having some form of self-control, and she's literally demonizing that. And it's connected to sex. And so what I would like to suggest, and I actually am going to link to access to an excursion that I've written for my upcoming book on Augustine's role in church history for helping the Christian church to see sex in such negative ways, right? So when she talks about a woman having control of her own body, a woman having control of her own orgasm, as if that's a bad thing, you know, it's not a bad thing if we have control over our body to perform, to be a gymnast, to sing, to act, to be a good instructor. But somehow control over your own pleasure is a bad thing. That comes out of a very long tradition of negative views of sex. Not to mention just this whole issue of being underinformed and ill-informed about our bodies and sexuality, which is something that the church, traditionally speaking, not so much today, because there are a lot of people in the church today who are trying to change things, but that is well wrought in history. There are so many tangents here in my mind. You know, the Song of Songs, people would rather talk about it as an allegory than actually just seeing it as a couple, right? So there's the issue of sex and a negative valuation of it. There's also the issue of talking about any woman who's taking control over her own self in any way, demonizing that specifically. And that also was well wrought throughout. Coming at this as a biblical scholar, it's well established in Christian scriptures, in the Hebrew Bible, and in the Newer Testament. It's in there. What's interesting to me is the particular label witch. So in Exodus laws, you shall not allow a female sorcerer to live. Well, that's interesting, because the reason they have to say that is because the male sorcerers also function as prophets and seers and are legitimate. That's interesting, isn't it? Also worth your consideration, looking into it if you're interested, is this book called, or this collection of writings called the Malleus Maleficorum. And it's a 15th century writing that was essentially the handbook for the witch hunts in Europe for 300 years. Demonizing women, specifically with the label witch, and then making clear that there's an actual connection to demons with these witches. She's not crazy, actually. She's standing in a very long tradition. God gave you your body. I'm pretty sure it's okay to do all the things that it's been created to do. Also, I mean, the irony here, right? That she strikes me as someone who could really use a good release from an orgasm. I don't know. Some food for thought.